EVOKE, promoting successful business experts, connecting people throughout the world from my podcast studio in Brazil. Joining us today from New York, Rosa Parker, executive coach, speaker, lifestyle mentor, creator of EVOKE framework. So Anna, for someone feeling stuck, what's the first step they can take to reclaim authorship of their life?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, I would first ask, what am I trying to do? And why am I trying to do it? And I work with people transforming their narrative through story mapping and heart intelligence. So it's strategic and it's also intuitive. But by asking ourselves all these questions, I give them a bunch of questions. But if you look at what you're trying to do, and if you're not moving forward with it, it's likely that you might not want to do it,
Right.
or you're trying to do too many things at once. So simplifying for you to get to do the thing is a one step to simplify, and be, bring in awareness of what and why you are trying to do it. And then with some of the story reframe and the narrative mapping that I do, I look at, you look at your own story and you look at your roots and where you came from and what you're all about, what your knowledge is, what your values are. And so reframing your narrative, it's like you write a little paragraph about yourself in a different way.
Right.
And you find, you spot out something that you weren't aware of.
Right.
And it sort of redirects you or pushes you forward. And then we map the future in a creative way, in like a storyboard sort of a way.
Well, if you take that to yourself, you're from Iceland.
Yes.
And so if we take that and say back to your roots, now you're from obviously a smallish type community.
Right.
And now you're in the middle of New York.
That's right.
So you've developed really two focuses and mindsets of what the world's all about. And the world really is something between small and big.
Yeah, it's intimate, and it's, absolutely. I think I've always had sort of a global mindset. I was a dreamer as a child. I wanted to get out of there. I didn't, I wanted something bigger. And so
because somebody showed you that maybe that could be better, right? At that time.
Yeah. And now I love both. I love living in, hectic, busy New York. And then I also love, I spent part of the year in Iceland as well. I work with clients there as well. And it's a perfect balance for me.
But what you just said, it's the narrative. It's readjusting whatever narrative, whatever story anybody has to be more meaningful in today's world, right?
Yeah, and there's so much healing in your narrative, your authentic narrative. And also people are carrying so much in their heads on a daily basis that is just trash. It's just head trash that
Right.
is sort of blocking their own way. They're in their own way. And so just kind of unfolding all this and identifying some key moments and aspects of your life will help you go forward.
Well, yeah, and to that point, there's just so much fake today. And so we talk about authenticity. We really have to be able to show and tell who we are, why we are, what we are, and to come through all that smog.
Absolutely. And there's so much comparison too. People think they have to be a certain way because they compare themselves to visual images on Instagram, for example. But it's your authentic self. That's the only thing we want.
Right.
Whether you are looking for a coach, you are, looking for a friend, it doesn't matter. It's always, we crave that authenticity, and people are afraid to be themselves. They think they're not enough, but we see through it. Once they allow themselves and open up, that's just a beautiful thing.
Now, your coaching and your mentorship, is that individual? Is it groups? How do you handle that?
Yeah, individuals is like more, I call that lifestyle mentoring. It's almost like a life coach, if you will.
Right.
But we go into your career as well. And then for teams, startups and businesses, that's more executive coaching. And then I often do that with a partner. I work with my husband as well. And then in Iceland, I have a partner there I work with. So sometimes bigger teams want more than one person.
Well, and to create teams, you should be a team.
Yeah, it's fun to be a team. I've been very like a solopreneur, a big part of my life, and I love collaborating. It's a gift to have someone you can work with and
Well,
be
I
your
agree because that's where the market is today. There's just so many people starting that really
yeah.
didn't realize that they could be something as an individual. They just felt part of corporations, but now it's a whole new world.
That's a whole new world. It's changing so fast, you know. And I talk also at New York University, NYU. I talk to kids that are graduating, and they are going to be having a job in 5 years that has not been created yet. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And
Yeah,
what they might have studied may not even be there tomorrow.
that's right. Yeah. I work with AI. I think I really encourage young people to be adaptable and be part of the solution and not, block
Right.
because then they're part of the problem. But yeah, we have to adapt, and adopt both.
Well,
I
and
love
well, to that, you cover from startups or younger persons, also persons who've been around the block a number of times. Is that true?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Or been across the pond, right? You're getting out from smallish and getting into bigish.
Yeah, and it's absolutely. I have a perspective. I think when I work with people in Iceland, I understand where they are and
Hmm.
also seeing it from afar. And I do the same thing in the States. I can see it from afar and also being in the community. It's a different perspective when you. It's a gift, I think.
Well, I think so too, and I think you're able to balance things because the world is not one thing. And when I say you need to enjoy and prosper where you are, and you don't
Yeah,
necessarily
absolutely.
need to be where you were.
No, and geographically, you can be anywhere. You need to be online. That's where you need to
Right.
be. You need to have a Wi-Fi and a computer, and then we go from there.
Well, I say, shortly we're going to be planetary, right? You have to be somewhere out there with the stars.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much now that people are doing to ground themselves, and forest bathing, as in standing barefoot in nature. Like we
Hmm.
have to make an effort now to do these things.
Well,
It's not.
I agree with you. That's what I try to do, and I actually don't have my shoes on and doing that right now. And part of it is that we need to be in touch with nature. We need to be in touch with ourselves. Because like you
Yeah.
said, 5 years from now is going to be a whole different story. We can't even imagine what it's going to be.
Absolutely. But I believe like you grow with the world if you are in tuned and adaptable, and you are taking care of yourself. You are authentic. You allow yourself to be you. You don't
Hmm.
have to become someone else.
Right.
You want to unfold the gifts you have. Everyone has them. But we often are just our worst enemy, and people are stuckness is a huge thing.
Right.
It's a massive. I think it's like up to 70% of people in America between age 40 and 70 are completely feel stuck in their lives, and they want to
Well,
redesign their
I'd say
life.
that's worldwide. I wouldn't say that's just,
Yeah, yeah,
captive to
that's
the
right.
States, sort of anywhere. It's sort of when people start hitting the 40-year mark, 50-year mark, that, it's an existential sort of thing.
Yeah,
And there's a whole other life out there. I defend that, we can be alive literally. I can be alive at 100 or 120. Uh,
that's right.
the kids leaving the university today, they can live to 140. We can't. Well, it's possible. It will be possible. So there's just a whole lot more. So 40 is not it, it's not a target anymore. It's not an
No,
anything anymore.
right. That's exciting to me.
It needs to be exciting for all of us because there are 8 billion
Yeah,
people out there that
yeah.
that are going. So, anyway, Anne, I want to thank you for being here. How can our listeners find you, either in New York or in Iceland or wherever?
Yeah. And I'm often in France too. It's one of my other favorite places to go to. On my website, annarosaparker.com.
Hmm.
I'm also on LinkedIn under my name. And Instagram, I have Evoke Method, a little
Okay,
account there, but you can see a little bit of what I'm doing. Yeah.
very good. Well, thank you for being here and sharing.
Thank you for having me. It was great. Good to meet you, Tom.
Okay, and for our listeners, it's Anna Rosa Parker, ANNAROSA is the middle name, and her last name, PARKER. You find her at her site, which is AnnaRosaParker.com. You also find her on LinkedIn. Cafe Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information at focusmi.com. Talk to Tom, talk to the world. Thanks for listening. Till the next time here at Cafe and Networking Podcast.